for master's students, it's important that they understand where the information comes from. And I think there are a couple levels of how the master's students should understand research design and statistics. The first level is just in general, I think an educated person has a certain amount of information that allows them to critique their environment, to see what's correct, to see if the information that you're giving me is correct information or it's information that's distorted, you know? So in general, I think for graduate students in any program that they need this kind of a course. But I see graduate students, particularly at the master's level, being able to use this in different ways. I think that one group is an individual group, probably the smallest group, that is going to continue their education and go and get a PhD, work for a doctor of science, and they need to know how to do research, and they need to know how to do it correctly, and they need to know that there are rules that we go by, and you just can't do whatever you want to do, right? And I think this class begins to show them that there are limits to what you can do, and those limits are prescribed by research methods and statistics and also reality. But those are individuals that need to know specifically how to do research. But I think there's another group in the master's program that will become practitioners. And are they ever going to really do any research after their master's thesis? Probably not. But they need to know how to go to the literature and read the literature and make a proper assessment of what studies are good studies, what studies are bad studies. There are a lot of bad studies, you know. There are a lot of not so good journals, and you've got to be able to understand why they're not good and why they're not bad. That doesn't mean you have to know how to do the research, but you have to understand how the research is done and what the rules are and what the limitations are. And if you're going to be a good practitioner, then you really need to understand how research is done. Or if you get your degree in 2020 and you do absolutely nothing for 20 years, in 2040, you'll still be teaching and working as though it's 2020, you know? And it won't be. You've got to be able to, one of the purposes of a master's education is to educate you how to continue to educate yourself. And they have to know how to do that. And the only way to know how to do that is to read books, to read the literature, and to be able to make their own decision as to what good research is, what bad research is, and not just what they read in pop magazines, you know? So that's why I think it's important on different levels, you know?
And what do you think about the general population? Sounds like everybody uses it.
Yeah, we're talking about research methods, but we're also talking, behind research methods are statistics. And you have to have a basic understanding of what limits those statistics have and how those statistics are used in your everyday life. And it's really an illusion by the general population that they're not being, how do you put this nicely? They're not being led by the nose, you know, like a cow, with statistics that are being not given to them wrongly, but used to the person's benefit, you know? So just terms like, this was really a significant study, the research showed. In reality, if you've had a course like Research Methods and Statistics, you'll know that statement means absolutely nothing absolutely nothing. But the general population reads that as, oh, this is okay, it's important because they said it's significant, you know? It's not significant, it's a statistical term that does not mean importance, and statistics is used on a daily basis to make decisions about you in medicine, in education, how you drive down the street, everything. Statistics is used now to make decisions about your daily life. And if you don't know that, then you're just being led by the nose and you can't make a decision, you know? So when I talk about statistics, I like to talk about it more from the standpoint of not just statistics, but statistical decision theory. Decisions are made by that, you know? You use statistics every morning when you get up and you say to yourself, should I go to class or should I stay in bed? Well, what's the probability that the professor is going to give a test? You say, I'm not very good, so I'm going to stay in bed. That's a statistical decision theory decision, you know? And we do it every day, and people are doing it to us every day. You know, I think there's no proof I could use for this, but nobody makes an effort of educating the population on this. Teaches the general population the general principles without getting into the basic arguments that start to develop in sciences and disciplines as it progresses, you know? And the scientists in psychology and education and physics at that level are way above the general population. They don't have, the general population simply doesn't have the understanding to even understand what the argument is, you know? But they can't understand what the principles are. And you've got to present that in a way, and yet that they understand. And when you do present it in that way, in some ways, you're not telling the whole story because you're not telling this part down here, all right? But you're giving them an education that allows them to look at their world in a way that they couldn't look at it before. Now, it may not be 100% correct. Maybe it's only 90% correct. But I guarantee you these people down here making the arguments, they're not 100% correct either, you know? So I think it's important that people be allowed to get general information without getting into the pedagogical arguments of that's not a perfect answer. It's okay, it's not a perfect answer.